Hello and welcome back to the How I Lost the Weight podcast. Today we're sitting down with Lance High, an amazing person, an amazing creator who has lost over 140 pounds. Over on Instagram, he shares his weight loss journey with updates, non-scale victories, weigh-ins, all that stuff, and gives you motivation to stick to your goals. So within this episode, we share his entire weight loss journey, how he's dealt with being overweight in the past, how he's lost some weight before and then gained it back, how he overcame an injury on his back that stalled his weight loss progress, and how he used that as fuel to not give up, but instead be more motivated to continue to lose weight. Lance is one of my favorite creators in this whole weight loss space. So definitely after watching this episode, if you enjoy what you see, go over to his Instagram, give him a follow. He's an awesome dude who has a really awesome message. And I'm very confident you're going to love this episode. So make sure to stick around for the entire episode. And once you've done that, then go over to Lance, show him some love, and let him know that you found him through this podcast. So with that intro out of the way, let's get right into the show and hear from Lance. Hey, Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here today. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you giving me the time. As I was saying before we started recording, you're one of my favorite people to come across on social media because you're super positive, you're doing awesome stuff, and very easy to watch too. And also, it's very easy to listen to you too. So I think people will enjoy this episode a ton. But I'd love to go. Let's start with the numbers. So, how high were you at your heaviest, and how much weight have you already lost so far?
So my heaviest weight ever was about 560 pounds. That was during COVID, kind of like during the isolation time.
Totally.
I hovered around like 520 for a long time after that, but well over 500 pounds for multiple years. And then I'm currently about 420-ish, so
Amazing.
about 140 pounds for my heaviest
Wow.
weight.
That is remarkable, dude. Okay, that's so awesome. So, is weight something that has been a focus for most of your life, or did you put on weight at a specific point in your life? Like, what can you pin it back to?
So I've been overweight my entire life. I really started putting it on more in high school. But high school and college were the main areas where I gained a lot and kind of stayed up there. But I've always been overweight. Even if I had pictures of me as a kid, you'd be like, okay, yeah, he was a big kid.
Okay, yeah, I put on weight for specific periods in my life, and then I lost it, and then I put it back on. So I was more like a yo-yo. But so when you start putting on weight, was there certain triggers? Like, was it where you're going through a lot of stress, or was there certain things that made you want to eat more? Can you attribute it to anything in particular?
I think it's probably the combination of a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So there's probably two main periods. Once was like kind of the COVID time, just the isolation. It was hard on a lot of people. And then
Oh my
the
goodness,
first
yeah.
one going into high school, someone very close to me died in eighth grade,
So
and
sorry to hear
I
that,
moved
man.
to a new high school. So it's kind of like a double whammy of losing someone close and losing kind of all your friends, changing schools. So that was the other big one, I would say. Those are the two big moments that like I really put more on, and it's probably mainly because of those situations, but there's probably a ton of factors.
Totally. I see a cute cat in the background. What's up, cat? How you doing?
Yeah,
What's your
that's
what's your
my
cat's
cat.
name?
Her name is Kitty.
Kitty.
Very,
That's
very original.
that's awesome. I love orange cats too, by the way. So hello, Kitty. Glad you could make an appearance. So first of all, so sorry to hear about your loss, man. That's so hard to go through. And when people have that vehicle of food for safety or comfort, and they go through something horrible, like I've experienced that too, where you just go back to a place where you have control and you feel good for even a small amount of time, and so you just keep going back to that place because everything else is so painful. So you go to where you feel even artificially good for a little bit, right? But
Exactly. It's not
I
good in the long run, but that
yes,
short term, it does make you
it
feel a
does
lot
feel
better.
good.
Everyone
It's
has their vices, and mine just
yes.
happened to be food.
Food. Yes, exactly, and I can totally understand that. I've been there too, because you feel good for at least a little bit, and then later you regret it, and the shame is longer, and then you have to look at yourself and be like, "I did this." So, how many times have you tried to lose weight? Is this the first time that you've seriously tried to lose weight?
So, well, how many times have I tried? I've started a diet every Monday for the past 10 years.
Totally get that. Yes, yes, totally
But
fair.
how many times have I seriously tried? I would say so. Probably 4. This is probably my 4th, like, serious attempt that's more prolonged, and that's over years. My first one was, like, 8th grade, and then once in high school, and once, about 2 years ago in college. And then now it's this time.
And how successful were those original tries that you took somewhat seriously?
So my first one in middle school was pretty successful. So the reasons I did it were the wrong reasons, though. I actually got down to the weight that was my goal weight at the time. But I did it because somebody made a bet with me, not
Okay,
because
I've
there
done
was
that
any
before
actual.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the motivation the second I got there just went away, and I went back to old habits and really fixed the underlying problems.
Wow,
So pretty successful that time, but for the wrong reasons.
that's a
The
really good
second
point.
time was pretty similar. I don't even want to say, not, I did keto in eighth grade for that as well. And then The second time was in high school. I was doing better. That's when I started getting into the gym more and more consistently. So going a better route there, but it was my diet just really wasn't sustainable that time. I had very, very low caloric intake, probably like 1,500 calories a day. And
Wow.
I sustained it for a couple months and I dropped 90 pounds in like 3 months, I
How'd you
think.
feel during that time?
So I felt like the first week not great. After that, though, I mean, I don't know.
Got
I
used
guess
to
it's
it.
because I have a lot of fat in my body that my body started using that, but I didn't really
Wow.
feel terrible outside of that.
Wow.
But same thing happened though. Once my routine got switched up, I could no longer stick to that many calories a day and went right back into old habits.
Totally. Yeah, it's so easy to do. That's really funny that you say the whole bet thing. 'Cause that's the last time that I lost serious weight. It was the exact same circumstance. I had a bet with my roommate, and I was able to focus on that enough to like do whatever it took. But then as soon as that was over, I put on the weight right after. So it's really, really good point. I think a lot of people they never come to that realization of okay, yes, this worked, but it's not. It didn't actually work because it's not sustainable. And the whole point of making these changes is to make forever changes, right? So,
Exactly.
so how did you come to that realization yourself? And then what have you done differently this time to make it more sustainable? What's going on? It's Ben from Step Pals here on my daily walk. If you want to walk more, download Step Pals. You can try it for free. It's a walking accountability game that works a lot like Tamagotchi. You adopt a virtual pet, you set a daily step goal, and you can only keep your Step Pal alive by hitting your daily steps and taking care of them. And you can try it out for free right now. It's linked down below. Let's get back into the episode.
So I would say I actually came to that realization about 2 years ago when I started trying to lose weight more seriously. Where it's just like, okay, I need to track calories. I need to build these good habits. And I was doing really well that time as well. But I think I lost, it was about 70 pounds in about 4 months, maybe a little
Wow.
longer of a time frame, but still pretty quick for that amount of weight.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that time ended just because of an injury. I had a back injury and I had nerve
That'll do
pain
it.
shooting down my leg for probably the last I got the surgery to fix it in January of this year. So it was about a year and a half. So I this time I'm kind of more continuing that previous journey, I would say,
Got
not
it.
really starting another one because the mindset was always there, but sometimes your body just limits what you can do. And chronic pain, if you've had it, you know how bad it can be, and it takes a lot out of you. So um,
Totally.
this time I'm focusing a lot more, not necessarily on my weight at all. Like I know like I post about my weight because people like seeing that, and
Yeah.
it's fun to show as well. But like I am really focused on like my underlying habits that are going to help me lose the weight and maintain that loss this time. So a big one's, my walking, just tracking calories. And for me, it's not only just tracking calories, it is um, getting a system in place where I don't always have to track. And if I do go out with friends, I still have flexibility to eat out. And I don't like put myself into a box of, okay, I'm always eating this food. I'm not going out with
Mm,
friends, not eating. Cause that's what I learned from my last attempt about 2 years ago was like, I was super focused. I was bringing food everywhere. I wasn't eating out with friends. And I just know in the long term, that's not sustainable. So I'm really focusing on just like sustainable good habits that I can maintain not only during the weight loss but after, since it really is a lifestyle change. I'm trying to be done with the old me and make a new me.
I love that, man. Man, you gave me that was such a good answer. I have like four different things I want to say. So I'll start with okay. So I've first of all I've dealt with chronic pain. I've had 5 knee surgeries over the last like 7 years, so I completely get it. How did your back surgery go? Was it successful?
It's successful. So, yeah, I have no pain shooting down my leg anymore. Still some in my lower back, but that's kind of expected. Well, first of all, there's always expected to be just some issues when you have a surgery
Totally.
like
When you get
that.
cut
For
open,
the
it's
rest
not
of your
natural. Yeah.
exactly for the rest of your life, you might have a little bit of weirdness, but the overall, my pain is much better. So
Amazing.
it went very well.
So glad to hear that. And also super proud of you for not losing that, right? Because most people, if they'd already had some success and then they have this knockdown of the surgery where it stopped that whole stuff, they'd be like, "Hey, whatever, it is what it is." So amazing that you were able to continue it and you see it as not a starting over, but a continuation of before. That's really awesome. That's a hard mindset to keep. So that's amazing. So
Yeah,
then,
it probably helped me have more motivation, if anything. So like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong, that nerve pain down my leg was really bad, but after the surgery for the first week or two after, that was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in my life. Like this is the best way to describe it, I think. It was supposed to be an outpatient surgery where it's like you go in the afternoon, they cut the little bad part of your disc out, you leave. I ended up being in the hospital for 2 days because the pain was so bad I couldn't stand up. I got stuck in a chair for 4 hours in the hospital, and like 4 nursing staff had to come lift me out of it because every time I went to stand up, the pain was just so bad. so much burning nerve pain, I just couldn't do it. So that, like, especially initially right after the surgery, that was like a huge motivator. I'm like, I can never feel that pain again. I need to do everything I can to stop that. And then over the past months, it's kind of just turned back into like, okay, going for the reasons I was before. But if anything, like I would say it actually, I don't want to say it helped me. I never want to go through that again.
No.
But it it definitely like reignited a fire to prioritize my health.
Yeah, I appreciate you for being open and honest. That stuff's really hard to talk about. Like I had experiences like that with my knee, and it's hard to talk about because as a guy too, it's like pretty emasculating when you're like you can't take care of yourself because you're in so much pain. Like I've been there, I've done that, and it's really really hard. And you have two choices in that moment. You either do what you did, Lance, and say like this is something I'm going to use as fuel to improve my life, or you get obsessed with how bad it is and things spiral and get even worse. And I've done both. So like I've done the wrong thing first that then led to doing the right thing on like the fifth surgery. So kudos to you, man. How were you able to stay so positive through all that adversity?
Well, I wouldn't say I was positive through all of it.
Okay. Okay.
You know, there's definitely the negative times, and even nowadays there are still negative times, but
Yep.
it's always, I've learned over the years that focusing on the negatives never help. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't motivate you. It doesn't make you want to push yourself further. It makes you want to
Hmm.
stay where you are, stay isolated, and it reinforces those bad habits that I'm trying to break. So I make it a point to actively look for the good things, actively look for the positive things, and that's in everything. You know, sure, a lot of things have their bad aspects, but those good aspects are what's going to carry you to a better place. So that's what I always try to prioritize. And with that, it's like, yeah, the surgery's bad. You know, there's bad things for the rest of my life from it. Like
Hmm.
my lower back is forever weakened. I have to be careful, and I'll probably just have some other issues down the line because of it. But I'm looking at it from the bright side of that. That motivated me and just reignited that flame of wanting to prioritize my health. And you know, there's always, you can paint the picture however you want. You have to choose how you want to paint it.
That's totally true. And your life changes when you decide to paint it differently. And I think that the success that you've had and you'll continue to have is because you do that a lot and it really comes through in your content. So like know that when people see your videos, like it is helping a lot of people. Right. And like I think why you've done so well on social media is because there's so little of that. You know what I mean? Just like people being authentic and like going through things openly and like sharing the good, the bad. Like it's amazing what you're doing. So I just want to give you credit there. It's super, super awesome. And yeah, it's awesome. It's so good.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
of
My
course.
my goal for it was just to make one post a day to help me stay accountable, you know,
Yeah.
and then if anything, I'm grateful for a couple of things about it. The biggest one being it makes me focus on the positives more
Hmm.
because it is really easy to get sucked into
So
the
easy.
negatives. And when I'm looking for positive things, because I don't want my online presence to be negative. I want to bring joy to the world, bring help
Hmm.
other people prosper. That doesn't mean I won't share the bad moments when there are some. I've shared a few, but it I always want to stay positive. So it's helped me even look for that positivity, those good things more, which I'm super grateful for.
I'm so happy that people like you are doing that with social media because I think we went through a long period of time where things like social media just made people's lives worse in many, many ways because there wasn't people like you who were out there sharing an authentic story. It was only the good stuff and like being unrealistic, which is what I love about your stuff is that it's open, honest, and realistic, right? There's good with bad, and with that, you got to deal with both. And then who you are is really ultimately all that matters. So, where did you seek out the information to build the plan to start getting the weight loss that you wanted?
So seeking the information, I mean, I started with a lot of people, just YouTube.
Okay.
So
YouTube's
first of
awesome.
all, a lot of past experiences, because like I said,
Sure.
I've tried to diet and lose weight many, many times, so I've kind of learned things that do and don't work. But outside of that, it's just a lot of YouTube and a lot of just trial and error. And then most recently, I've in this kind of recent attempt, it was September. It started. I started working with Simon Lafont. He at Goliath GG's his Instagram. So I started working with him in his 90-day program, which helped just get a little more structure as well. But it's really just online resources and then going in and actually doing it yourself. It takes some time, but it you get used to it.
Totally. Yeah, it all happens right there. So much on is available online if you go and seek it out and you find good communities, and it really, really does matter. So, what is it that you're doing on a daily basis to lose the weight? And you also mentioned that you've done stuff a little bit different this time to make it more sustainable. Can you share what your routine looks like and how you allow for some spontaneity in terms of randomly going out or whatever?
Yeah, so my routine, so every day I pretty much have 3 goals. And so the one thing I do is I take it day by day. I don't think too far ahead, because even right now, if I thought too far ahead, it becomes really overwhelming, because it's not like I have to do this for another 2 or 3 months. I have to do this for another like year or two. It's a really long way down the line. So like I don't really want to think about that. I know that the small changes day by day are going to build those habits and push the progress I want. So those goals are hit my steps every day, be in my nutrition goals, so a lot of protein, lower calories, and then go to the gym if it's programmed in that day. So I don't go to the gym every day, a couple times per week, but those are my 3 goals every day. And the way I work in like the spontaneity of going out with friends and stuff is because I don't know, a lot of times you don't have plans to go out with friends. There's like, hey, do you want to go get dinner or
Hmm.
go get lunch? And it's like, sure. And I do that by tracking calories. So I mean, a lot of people track calories, and I'm not going to say I track everything every single day, because I eat a lot of the same food, so I kind of know what's in them and know the ballpark of where I'm at. But I know that if my friend asks me to go out, I can go. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to order like the most unhealthy thing on the menu. I'll try to order like a higher protein, lower calorie option, like a salad or maybe some grilled chicken. But I still get that experience, that social interaction of going out with my friends. And that's something that I didn't do before. I would say, or I would go out and not eat, or I'll just be like, oh, no, no, thank you. I have food at home. And that's something that I realized in the long term isn't going to be sustainable. Like down the line, I'm going to want to go out to eat with friends. I'm going to want to go to these social gatherings. And a great example is actually tonight. My Bible study is hosting a Friendsgiving. So what I'm doing is I'm still eating throughout the day, but I'm eating much less. So I'm probably going to have about 2,000 calories left of my daily calories for that meal. Will I use all of that? Most likely not, but I want to know that I have a lot left over, so I know I'm not going to like go crazy over my calorie goal. But it's pretty much just planning for it is
Yeah,
the what I would say.
totally. Yeah, it's so important because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, and that's so true in weight loss. And I think a lot of people they do exactly what you did, where they say, "Oh, if I'm on a diet, I just don't go places," and that's pretty detrimental to you as the person. It really zooms in on the difficulty of being on a diet, which just makes it harder because it feels like you're punishing yourself, right, when you don't
Yeah.
go, and then it actually has like a negative byproduct over it. Because at first, for a little bit, you're like, "Oh, I was strong. I'm proud of myself. I'm strong. I didn't go," but then you're like, "I'm all alone. Like it would have been fun to be there," and then that's a negative thing that gets associated with the entire experience. So that's really really important. How have your friends and family been in terms of you making these different choices? Like, are they been very supportive? What's that been like?
I would say super supportive for the most part. I
Yeah,
mean, not even for the most part. I can't think of one person who hasn't been supportive. In fact, I've
amazing.
had old friends from college years ago, like freshman year of college, and they like reached out and said, "Hey, like, I saw that you started posting. Like, I just want to let you know you inspired me to like try to be healthier." So like, they've been super supportive. I live with my mom at home currently. She helps me with meal prep occasionally, so she helps out where she can. And then I actually, my dad, he is super into health and fitness, and
Amazing.
me and him aren't the closest, but me getting into this and starting to prioritize my health, I'm hoping will be a bridge to kind of build that relationship more. In fact, one of my most viral video is me doing a high rocks competition with him. So
Amazing.
that shows that he's supportive, because he wants to bring me to these things. He wants me to get into that health fitness space. So I'm super grateful for all my friends and family for the support they've given me.
That's beautiful. Yeah, shout out mom and dad, and I saw you go to that competition. How was that?
It was hard.
Yeah,
Like, so I knew I would get it done, just because I know what I'm physically capable of, and I won't get it done fast, but I
but
can
it'll be
do it.
done. Mhm.
Yeah. And that's kind of exactly what happened. Our time was second to last, but
You got
we
it
got it
done.
done. That's all
Yeah.
that matters. Like, there's not many other people that are my size out there doing that. And
No.
I really liked having that kind of challenge and goal to look forward to. In fact, we're actually signed up for another one in
Let's go.
February. So that's kind of going to be like a, I don't know, every couple of months I do one of those, maybe just see my times, gives me
That's
something to keep
awesome.
looking forward to and keep pushing towards. Because I don't know, the long term goal, yeah, is to just lose weight and be healthier, but having like these events in the short term that just kind of spark extra motivation help a lot.
They matter big time. Yeah. And fitness is such a big part where, of course, most of your overall weight loss will come from what you eat. But in terms of quality life enhancements, a lot of that's going to come from the movement. It's going to come from working out. It's going to come from weightlifting. And when you find your day-to-day life getting improved from things that you do while exercising, like you'll never stop because you're like, wow, I'm actually getting stuff from this. And it means so much because you see your life just genuinely get better. And you talk about the non-scale victories. Can you explain what that concept is to people?
Yeah, so if anything, the non-scale victories are, in my opinion, much more important
Totally
than the
agree.
scale victories because
Yeah.
I don't like focusing on the weight. I like focusing on the life that losing the weight's giving me. And basically, non-scale victories, it can't be anything to anyone, but it comes down to it's something that has changed in your life because you've lost the weight. So one that I had most recently, this one surprised me. This is a couple of days ago. I was walking through my bedroom doorway and I didn't have to turn sideways to get through it. I just walked straight through basically. And I didn't even notice at the time. Like I walked through and I was like, it took me a second. I was like, wait a minute. And then I could physically fit through it and I couldn't have before. So it's basically just uh the life changes that happen because of weight loss. So it can be like a shirt size going down. It can be for me one that I'm looking forward to and will happen eventually is being able to fit on roller coasters. I live in the Orlando area and I
Yeah.
can't ride a single ride at an amusement park. So I'm looking forward to that
That'll
one
be
day too.
awesome.
But those are, in my opinion, the most important things because I have focused on just getting the scale number down in the past, and that hasn't worked for me. And I feel like it doesn't work for a lot of people. It might for some, good for them, but I want to really focus on what getting healthier will give me lifestyle wise, and
That's
that's where those non-scale victories come in.
That's the whole thing, man. You said that really well. And that's the whole point of why we're doing it, right? But when you get fixated on just a scale number, that's very like binary. Either you succeeded or you failed, and life's not like that. And weight loss isn't like that. And if you take that approach, you're more likely to fail than be successful, right? Whereas when you realize it's improving decisions over a longer period of time that's going to get you the life that you want, that's a really beautiful way to approach it. And then it shifts away from being obsessed with, oh, I didn't hit this goal, to little positive wins, which makes you more motivated to do the right thing the next time because you don't feel like you need to punish yourself, right? So that's really, really beautiful. And I think more people will find more success the more that they zoom in on those wins instead of obsessing over what you've not achieved yet. Because
Yeah,
you really said it well, where when you think about where you're going, it's so daunting and large that it makes the small decision seem insignificant. And when you think it's not a big deal, you do the wrong thing. And then you realize it's like, oh, it's that thinking model that led me to the wrong thing that's kept me here in the first place.
yeah, it's actually the small changes that are going to make the difference in the long run and actually
Totally.
get you to get the weight off and keep it off. And like and another thing for me at least, and I feel like the bigger you are, the more apparent this is, just about the scale and the reason why I don't, or part of the reason I don't like going by the scale is just because it can fluctuate a lot. I mean,
Hmm.
literally between yesterday morning and this morning, the scale is 5 pounds heavier. I
Wow.
do weigh myself frequently still. That's not just the once a week, but and I know that's just water. I know I ate late last night and I'm holding on to it. But if you are newer to trying to lose weight and you see that scale go up 5 pounds in one day, it is just absolutely disheartening. And
Gut
it makes you
wrenching.
feel like crap. It sets a terrible tone for the day. So not making that a priority, I think, can really help with that, for me at least. And for a lot of people, I think it could.
Yeah, I think for most people because you get anxiety about it too, right? And then you try to overcompensate if the scale was too high one time, and then you get so mad at why you did what you did that led to it. You tell yourself the story like, "Ah, I shouldn't have eaten last night," and then you try to over course correct, and then it creates a problem. So I love that. I think really got to zoom out. I think the more people that do that, the more success they're gonna have. So were you always into working out, or is this a recent thing with that came with the weight loss stuff?
So I wouldn't say I've always been into it. I would say I've been on and off in the gym since I would say middle school. There were some bigger gaps in there. Like I think my freshman and sophomore year of high school, I didn't go much at all. Junior and senior year, I started getting a little more into it. So I've been on and off in the gym for years. Just not super consistent. I've never been like 5 days a week for 3 years straight. And that's actually still a habit I'm trying to build and get better with. I've changed a lot of habits, changed a lot of aspects of my life just in these last few months, and I feel like a lot of the things are like engraved in my routine now, like my steps, my diet. There's a lot of things that are super easy. The gym is still one where it's a lot of time out of my day. I
It
still
is a
work a
big
full
time
time
commitment.
job and I still do other things. Not saying that's an excuse. I still get in there frequently. Just I need to get it more built into my routine now. So I've been going on and off for years though.
Got it. Yeah, the gym stuff is the hardest because exactly like you said, it's not stuff that you can just work into your normal day. Like walking you can, eating you can, it's stuff that you're doing either way. But the gym is like such a dedicated thing you have to give time to. What have you done to try to make that a little easier for yourself to stick to? What's going on? It's Ben here from Step Pals. I just want to thank you for watching the How I Lost the Weight podcast. Every episode, we bring on people who lost the weight to share their tactics, their stories, and their mindsets to help you achieve the very same thing. So if you're looking to hear from people like you who achieved what you're looking to achieve to reach your weight loss goals, make sure to click the subscribe button so that you don't miss a future episode. Super happy to have you. And with that out of the way, let's get back to the episode.
So, one thing I will say is I go with my friend a lot, so
Nice.
that extra little bit of accountability helps. And then I've also been going in the mornings frequently, so
Nice.
I'm not a morning person. I will say that, and I will stand on that hill forever. I hate waking up early, but I know that just given my day and the structure of my life, the only time I'm gonna be able to go consistently is in the morning. So, not that I get there every day in the morning, but
You
I'm
try.
constantly working to get more consistent with it.
Love that. Yeah, just thinking of little ways to make it easier and make it more so that you can't possibly fail. I love that a lot. And one thing you brought up was walking, and that's obviously why I built Step Pals in the first place, because I know that walking seems insignificant, but it's really powerful in terms of enhancing your mood. It's important to lose weight that way too. Like it's such a sustainable way to lose weight, which is why we built the app in the first place. What role has walking played in your weight loss? How many steps are you getting per day? I'd love to hear all that.
So walking, I would say it's probably one of the biggest things for a couple of reasons. So one, I prioritize my steps over everything else, mainly actually because my back issues. My back
Mm,
issues are with my lumbar spine, and walking is really, really good for that area. So that's the why I prioritize it. But my average steps over the past a little over 2 months now, I think, have been over 10,000. I think I've missed 10,000 steps a single day.
that's amazing,
So
dude.
it's just one of the things where at this point it's built into my routine. I know I need to get my 10,000 steps in, so I do it. But I think it's played a huge role, and I think that there was a couple weeks where I was above my step goal by my average like 12 or 13,000. I did notice those weeks where the scale was a little further down, so there might be a correlation there. At my size, there's a lot of water and stuff, so I'm not going to say directly, but I think it's definitely helped a ton. Just because if I look at my health graph on like my fitness app,
Hmm.
it shows literally you'll see my average like 4,000 steps for like 3 months straight, and then 10,000 for two. So I think it made a huge difference.
Definitely. Yeah, and so as someone who, because whenever like why we created the app is because we know that people like need a sense of accountability. A lot of people really struggle with that, and most people who struggle with it, they're in your situation where they also work a job, like a full-time job. How do you mix it in with managing work and getting steps in?
So that I don't want to say there's one size fits all solution for that one, because even for myself, day to day that can vary a lot. So for me, I will say usually it entails like one longer walk at some point. But sometimes that's in the morning, sometimes that's at night. It depends on the day there. But the other thing for me is I've just found little ways throughout my day. So like for example, I have lunch every day. So while my lunch is cooking, it takes 20 minutes to reheat. If it's in the oven, I'll walk for 20 minutes. That's 2,000-ish steps. So all those little things add up. And at first I was consciously trying to like get up, walk more and move more just to like build it into my routine. And I feel like now it's at the point where I do consciously just walk a little more throughout the day, not like a ton, but that extra 1,000 steps helps a lot and makes it much easier. Because there's definitely some days where at the end of the day I'm like, okay, it's 8 p.m. I just got home and I have 6,000 steps left. I'm not excited for this, but I go out and I get it done those days as well. But
Yeah.
it's kind of just building into routine wherever it can fit. Like I said, even in my own schedule, it can vary a lot deeper.
I think the most important thing is setting the goal and the distinction, saying this is something I do every day by any means necessary. And I love what you said about how sometimes these things will change and it does adapt and it flows. And you found a way that works for you by just setting the goal and making it happen, right? And for me, I use morning walks a lot. I try to get as many steps out in the day as early as possible because I've found that if I get to later in the day, if I let it get past like the morning, I end the day and I'm at like zero and I want it to hit 10K. I got to go on like a 3 hour walk, right? It
So
just becomes unsustainable.
that
So
exact thought I have. I try to get done in the morning if I can. Not every day that happens. So sometimes it's in the evening, but
mhm,
I at least by the time work starts at 9 a.m., I want to at least be at like 5,000. So
got
a
it.
good chunk is done.
Yes. No, I completely agree. It's a a big thing to shift that and get it done earlier if you can. If you can't, then just move your schedule around, or fill in gaps is a big one. Or if you take calls, that's another one that I found successful. Where if I have to be on a call but I don't need video, I'll take it while walking, or I'll listen to podcasts, or I'll call people I haven't seen in a while. They really appreciate that too, right? So making walking fun and like an add to your day is really huge. I know I'm in Canada, so it's starting to get cold, which makes those walks a little less fun. So you got to try even harder to make them fun. But in Orlando, the weather is beautiful right now, I assume,
Yeah, it's
right?
actually getting nice now. It was awful for a long time, and
Yeah.
now it's cooling down, and walks are kind of enjoyable.
Yeah, they're amazing. I see your videos, and sometimes you share where you're walking, and it's always super beautiful. So that's awesome. And
Yeah, I always try to find like some of the things I do just to make walking more fun is just like trying to time at sunrise or sunset, so just the view is a little nicer. And recently, I started listening to some audiobooks as well.
amazing.
Calls are definitely a huge one too. There are some days where I was on the phone with somebody and I'm just like, I'm just gonna walk the whole time I'm on the phone with them.
Why
And then
not?
I check and I'm like 14,000 steps and I'm like, wow, that went quick.
Yeah, the time flies by when you're talking to someone that you care about, and it's a great hack. And what books have you been listening to?
So I'm listening to Atomic Habits right now by
Nice,
James Clear.
great
It's been
book.
recommended to me by a lot of people, and I'm like, well, I feel like I'm trying to better my life in all aspects, not just my health. So I feel like those books really help with that.
Yeah, a great book. Definitely recommend that. I have a physical copy here somewhere, and I've listened to it a few times. So I think you'll like that one a lot. That's a great hack. And what else did I have for you? So food, yeah, that's what I have to talk about next. So what do you prioritize in eating? I know you said protein and low calories. Is there specific ways in which you plan your meals, or specific foods that you buy to make it easier to hit these?
So I wouldn't say there's specific ways I plan or foods I buy. There's some consistent staples. Like for me, breakfast, I usually have Greek yogurt with some fruit in it, just because it's super high in protein, super filling, and not too high in calories. But to be honest, my diet outside of the calories and the protein wise does change like frequently.
Okay.
Sure, the bases of chicken, beef, those proteins stay, but the actual meals might change a lot just because I don't know. Food has always been an exciting part of the day for me, and I did try to go just like whole food route, and it was a lot more mundane. It was chicken, rice, broccoli, and I did it for like a week or two, and I'm like, this is not sustainable for me. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start getting more creative with my meals. So yes, like whole ingredients always stay, and there's some staples like there's a Walmart pre-made fajita chicken I love. That's a staple in my diet. Greek yogurt is a staple. Ground beef is a staple. Potatoes staple. Rice staple. But what I do with that can vary a lot.
That's something I really struggle with, Lance. I'm not good at getting creative with my food. That's something that I definitely need to get a lot better with. So, do you share much on your page about that?
A little bit. I'm trying to do like one video a week where it's like what I eat in the day or a meal or
Nice.
something. And there's definitely some common themes in those. Like you'll see yogurt in all of them, or
Yogurt's awesome.
you'll see fajita chicken in a lot of them because it's I don't know if I have a chipotle, it's like a Chipotle bowl at home. I'm not can't go wrong with that.
Totally. No, I definitely love that, and that's something, yogurt's a big one too, like, I'll because you can take down if you're someone with a really big appetite like I have, you gotta be conscious of high volume foods that also help you hit your goals, and yogurt's one of the best ones for that. Because 'cause I'll put in some berries, some protein powder, and then I have an obscene amount of protein, something that's actually tastes good too, like, that's super important to find. I've also found that, for me, if I get that first walk in and I make my first meal of the day something really high protein, I'm so much less likely to eat bad stuff. I consistently see that. So that's a big thing too. And figuring out what foods that is to you. Like if you, some people listening to this, if you hate yogurt, that's totally okay. Like go find
Yeah.
something else. Find like what Lance said, he's got some favorites, but to find the favorites, you got to try a lot of stuff. And
And
so
I've tried everything, every low calorie sauce you can think of. So many meal preps I've made, and that's where it changes week per week too. There's some times where I'm like, oh, this meal prep looks really cool, like a high protein butter chicken. Yeah, that sounds great. I'll try that this week. But those also take a lot of time to make relative to my normal weekly food. So
totally.
it's really just trying it all, mixing it up, and just the important thing though is while you're trying stuff, making sure you're still within your calories
Yes.
because you can have whatever you want. You don't necessarily have to have a ton of protein. I like prioritizing protein just because I have a lot of weight to lose and I want to maintain what muscle I do have and maybe
Hmm.
gain a little more in that
Totally.
process. But you don't technically have to have that. So it's just really staying under your calories, trying to find stuff you like and stuff that works for you.
Great point. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about the calories. So whatever you eat, if you eat under the calories that you need, then you're going to lose weight. I try to prioritize protein as a dude as well to try to keep the muscle that I have exactly. And going to the gym also helps with that too. So it makes a ton of sense. But ultimately, great advice. Figure out what works for you, whatever you want to do, and whatever makes it sustainable and enjoyable. 'Cause if you don't, then you're going to flip flop all the time.
Yeah, and that's different for everybody. There's people
Yes,
that eat carnivore and they love it.
exactly.
I couldn't do that. I
Yeah,
love potatoes and I love rice.
yeah, I don't know if I could either, man. Everyone tells me to try it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I do love like sweet potatoes. I love potatoes, so I don't know if I could do it. You said you went keto for a little bit.
Yeah, that was a middle school, a long time ago.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was pretty much carnivore, just
Okay.
meat and fats, so a lot of cheese.
How'd you even find the carnivore diet when you were that young?
I don't know. I think if I remember correctly, one of my so that was when someone made a bet with me to see if I could
Okay.
lose weight, and I'm like, okay, let's see how I could do it. And I didn't look it up. One of my friends' parents were like, oh yeah, like try keto. It's like oh, and then like they were describing it to me, and it's like okay, well it's like if you don't have carbs, your body burns fat, whatever. I'm like okay, like sure, I'll try it, and then that's how I did it for a little bit.
Cool. That's awesome, man. That's yeah, totally makes sense. So what is your ultimate goal? Like, do you have a specific I know you don't watch the scale that tightly, which is great advice, but is there a loose goal you have, like a goal weight that you wanna get down to?
So just given my size, because I'm a big guy, I'm a tall guy.
Yeah.
My guess is I'll probably be 250 to 275.
Okay.
But that's something that I really don't know until I'm closer to that
True.
that range. Because there's also the factors of everybody's a little different. Some people will feel better, feel healthier at a slightly lower body fat. Some will feel better, healthier, slightly higher. Not like slightly higher, 30 or 40%, but
Yeah.
like some people might feel good at 10, whereas other people don't feel good until like 17 to 20.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah, having a range rather than setting a specific goal also makes you far more likely to be successful because you get to see when you get there. That's another great piece of advice. It really feels like you've thought about a lot of this in depth.
I feel like I have. Not for me, it's not even necessarily consciously thinking about it. It's more of just like getting healthier and weight loss has been a goal of mine for, like I said, technically forever. It's been a more focused goal at certain points in my life, especially now.
Yeah,
And I feel like what comes with that is you have to think about it a lot and think about the sustainability of it. Because the other part of it is I don't really have a goal weight. Because what happens when I get to that goal weight?
then what?
There is no like. I don't want it to, it's not over, like you still have to keep doing the same stuff. So I don't really want to set that and then have like a flip because I've had that happen before. I have the set goal, I get to it, and the switch just gets flicked off, and I go right back to old habits. And I
Totally.
don't think that will happen. I have a long way to go, and I have a lot of good habits to build in that process.
Amazing.
But I'm trying to do everything I can to make it sustainable.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. I look forward to you stacking those habits, especially after reading the book too. That'll probably get even easier and better for you. So you obviously made the content to try to do everything you're doing in this podcast, educate, empower, create accountability, all that stuff. But if you could only have like one opportunity to speak to someone who wants to lose weight and has struggled with it in the past, what would you say to them?
Well, that's a great question. Let me think about that. So,
Take your
if I
time.
have one thing I could say to somebody, I would probably say be patient because depending on where you're starting, obviously, no matter what, it's not a short process because to lose it and maintain that weight loss is a lifelong process. It's not just you don't lose it and it's just over. So be patient with yourself because it takes time to figure out what works for you, what you like, what you don't like, and to really just, and I'm still in the process of this. That's why I'm saying it because I'm being patient because I know things that work, things that don't work, and I find new things, every week or so that do and don't. But I say that would be the biggest one because everything else goes into it. Yes, like tracking calories is great, walking, moving more. Like if you want what to do, eat less, move more, like that's the gist of that. But I think Higher Up Wellness says this a lot. He's like, it's easy or it's simple, it's not easy. So you know what you have to do, but it's just being patient with yourself and giving you time to make it work for you. That's what I would say.
Great advice, man. Lance, this episode was awesome throughout. I really appreciate it. You did not disappoint whatsoever. I knew it'd be good, and it was absolutely that. Where can people get more of you? Like, where's the best places to follow you?
Yeah, so On Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, Losing with Lance is my handle. I post once a day. I try not to post anything crazy. There's some videos that are better than the others, but my goal for myself is to post once a day and just kind of share my journey with everyone.
Amazing. Yeah, and so all of those will be linked down below. So definitely go show Lance some love. It's a very nice addition to your timeline and feed. So definitely go show him some support. You won't regret it. Thank you so much, Lance. I appreciate you coming on the show. It was a blast.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.